now. I'd like to thank everyone for their patience as we let the administrative staff of the Students' Union do all of the back-end work that they needed to do to make this happen. I've been in several AGMs as of late, and this is by far the biggest one. So I'd like to thank them ahead of time for their diligence and their work here. The meeting was called to order at 5:01 because we had quorum. Quorum is reached at 100 for these meetings. So we'll do a very quick set of introductions here. My name is John Lax. I serve as the chair of the board of directors. I'm an employee of the Students' Union in that capacity, not a member of the board per se. I basically keep meetings on track and help with governance management. We have our executive here today, and I believe the directors, the president of the URSU Regina Students' Union, Gurjinder Lihal Singh, is here. Gurkarat Singh, VP of Finance, Zio Lee, Vice President of Student Affairs, and Amir Said, the new Vice President External, and they will be answering questions as we move through the meeting. So just a few quick housekeeping items so that everyone understands. As we move through, down at the bottom, polls will come up. If you look at the bottom of your screen right now, there should be a little icon. It's a bar graph with 3 bars, and it says polls. That is the function which we are going to use to vote throughout this meeting. So when it comes time to vote on a motion, you can open up that poll, and we will give you a window of time. And at the end of that window of time, we will deem the poll closed through the vote closed. If you want on the speakers list, please use the chat function over to the right side. If you don't know how to open it, there's a little comic word bubble down at the bottom of your screen again, right beside the poll function. It says chat below it. If you click that on the right-hand side of your computer screen, a chat function will come up. I will note to everyone that in the to field right above where you type in messages, you can select whether you're speaking to everyone or someone in particular. Do be careful, because occasionally people say things that they didn't mean to say to everyone rather than a specific individual. All right. Final housekeeping items. We are still in the middle of a global pandemic. This is a new world. This is difficult for everyone. This is not an ideal situation to hold an AGM. But again, I think the staff has done a wonderful job pulling this together. I hope everyone recognizes the difficult back-end work that was done there, and I thank you for your patience in that 15 minutes before we got going. We will get through this pandemic, and we will get through this meeting. So bear with us. Again, thank you, Neil. And if there are things that you need to interrupt for, you go right ahead and do that. That's the nature of the world we live in.
Sure.
All right.
So right there, John, just a very quick clarification. So totally fine where if people want to add a comment, you can indicate it in the chat, and then our communications analyst, Neil Petrick, he'll coordinate with John to figure out how we manage those comments as necessary. But when we reach the portion of the meeting where we are asking for someone to second a motion, instead of using the chat function, we would like people to use the raise hand function, as that will prevent a whole bunch of excess noise in the chat. You know, if we have 100 people post at the same time that they second the motion, that's really pointless. So we would like you to use the raise hand function. Now, a couple of you have commented that you don't see the polls option at the bottom, and that is not a big deal. The polls will show up at the bottom when we open the polls. So we'll be opening the polls whenever there's a voting item at hand. We're going to leave the polls open for a little bit longer. So if we say that we're voting and you don't see the poll there, post in chat and we'll see what's going on. But don't be alarmed if you don't see the polls quite yet.
Excellent. All right, so to the first order of business, we have a motion up here to approve the chairperson of this meeting. That's me. That's the first step to getting this whole thing going. So I need someone to move that, if we could. Okay, Nihar Singh. All right, and a second, just to test out the hand function. Okay, so we have 2 with raised hands, 3, 4. Okay, we've got a second. Thank you very much. Neil, if you could just record whoever the first one was so that we have it for the minutes properly. All right, and so we can go to the poll for that. We can vote on it.
John, if you don't mind, can you say explicitly who we're taking for that, just so that Chloe captures that for sure?
That were which?
Can you say explicitly who our first and seconders are? So for example, if we're accepting...
Harding was first.
Okay.
And Adam, and the name is gone off my screen now.
Probably Adam Hendrickson.
Hendrickson, there we go, that was it.
Yeah, and so if you can just say explicitly, for example, Adam Hendrickson will take you as the seconder or something like that. That way Chloe can make sure she's got the right names.
Excellent, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to open that poll, and I'm going to give everyone 3 minutes, which seems like a long time, but I want to make sure anyone who's having net isn't prevented from voting. All right, there's 30 seconds left. It looks like we've got a pretty good baseline that about 2.5 minutes should do the trick here. But we said 3 minutes, so we'll allow 3 minutes on this one. Okay, so that's 3 minutes. We'll end there. The motion is going to pass or be carried, pardon me. Excellent. Okay, was that? All right. We would move on to the next item, which would be the adoption of the agenda. Okay, yeah, we're going to move on to the adoption of the agenda. So be it resolved that the URSU membership approves the agenda for the October 28th, 2020 Annual General Meeting. Can I get a motion? Lawrence, are you making a motion? Okay. You said you wanted to speak before the approval of the minutes. Are you wanting to speak before the approval of the agenda?
Yes, sorry, before the approval of the agenda.
Okay,
Okay, just give me a minute here. Okay. This meeting contains a motion whose purpose seems to be a major change to the structure of the running of the organization. Sufficient notice has not been given as per the Nonprofit Corporation Act and the current Constitution to allow members time to study the motion and its implications. I move that the voting on the motion under the new special business be postponed until sufficient notice has been given and intention of changing the governance of the organization structure has been sufficiently communicated to the
what
membership.
article of the Nonprofit Act are you referring to, Florence?
I'm referring to notice of meeting, section 125. Notice of the time and place of a meeting of members shall be sent not more than 50 or less than 15 days before the meeting to each member, and I can go on.
That was
I
done.
received notice on Monday. It's also in our Constitution.
Notice was sent on October 13th.
Where?
Where did we send the notice to, Carl? Oh, can you unmute Carl, please, Neil?
As notwithstanding section 1,
Can we
the
please let
case
Carl
of a
answer?
corporation. Yeah.
Notice was sent through various postings on social media on October 13th. Similarly to what we
Okay.
have done in the past, it has all been through posters and social media. We've never emailed individuals. This is the first time that we've actually been able to do so, reminding of the meeting, but the actual notice meets all the regulatory requirements of the Not-for-Profit Act.
The Not-for-Profit Act states, notwithstanding subsection 1, in the case of a corporation that has more than 250 members, unless the articles or the bylaws provide otherwise, it is sufficient notice of any meeting of members given by publication at least once in each of the 3 consecutive weeks preceding the meeting in a newspaper or newspapers circulated in the municipalities in which the majority of the members of the corporation resides, as shown by their addresses on the books of the corporation. So it does not state about social media, which I do not all of the students belong to.
Yes, but
And this
the standard
motion-
practices were followed here, Florence. I'm not too sure what you're looking for. If you're thinking that the Students' Union was going to post advertisements in the Leader Post for 3 consecutive weeks, the standard here to be met is no more than 50 days and no less than 15 days. And within that
but
bracket, the
it's
standard
where it
protocols
was
follow.
supposed to be done and how it was to be gotten to the membership. The other thing is, because the motion itself says that one of its reasons was because we were in contravention of the act, then this is also a contravention of the act.
I'm sorry, but no, it is not a contravention of the act. And the fact that URSU has a constitution rather than articles of incorporation.
We have
may
articles
make
of
it slightly outside of-
incorporation. No, we do have articles of incorporation. I got them this morning, which are separate from the Constitution. We do have articles of incorporation with the seal of the government.